I hope you don't mind the high level of production value in these videos. I'll probably up it at some point in the future, but right now I think it's probably more important for what I'm trying to do to get the word out. So I'll pretty it up later, put some music in the background and all that kind of cool podcasty type stuff. But right now, I just want to get the word out. So we're talking about attention. Remember we said the 4 fundamentals: attention, conversion. I hate when I do that. Attention, conversion, follow-up, and consistency. We're talking attention. Now, attention's a funny thing. Attention is what it sounds like. Basically getting in front of the folks that you want to throw some cash flow at you. Basically, the people who need what you do, getting in front of them when they're about to go about the business of figuring out who can help me. Now, I'm not going to use this episode to go into the buyer's journey because that's all kinds of marketing geekery. I'll touch it at some point and I figure out how to say it without making your eyes roll back in your head. But the bottom line is when people go to find out stuff, they're getting ready to make a purchase, no matter what size purchase it is, there's a little bit of a finding out period where folks go, I wonder who sells. I wonder what I need to know, blah, blah, blah. Your job as a local marketer, as a small business runner or owner, entrepreneur, as I like to say, is to get in front of those folks when they're ready to do all that research. And we're not talking about, I guess the thing I'm trying to emphasize is you got to be strategic about what you're slapping online. You can't just slap just any old thing up there. I call it the spaghetti technique. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're doing something. Action doesn't, what should we say? Motion doesn't equal action. So the question is, well, what are you supposed to be doing? Well, let's start with this. Who are you trying to get the attention of? I said a few seconds ago, folks who need what you do. So essentially, we're not saying that you don't want the attention of just any old body who's got a pulse and a wallet. Because one of the things that when I was building websites and that's all I was doing, and I was helping people, put their websites together, I said, who's your target audience? And they'd say, men, women. I'm like, and I'd have to break it down. No, there's only a handful of people on the face of the planet who want what you do. Break that down. There's only a handful of people who on the face of the planet who want what you do right now. That's your target audience, the folks who want what you do right now. The thing is, how do you get in front of those folks? Well, you've got to kind of flip the script a little bit and get in their shoes. What do they do? Well, let me ask you, what do you do when you want to go online, when you're about to make a purchase, when you're about to, figure something out? Where do you go? There's only a handful of places you can go online. I mean, the internet's a huge thing, but at the end of the day, there's not that many places. You're going to go to social media. You're going to go to review sites. You're going to go to somebody's website. In other words, you're going to go to either Google search, Bing, or one of the other ones, or you're going to go to maps. That's it. There's no place else to go. I mean, and if you understand that, then there's a question of, okay, well, then I got to put my stuff there. Cool. Well, what are you putting there? Well, you could just put up the coolest things that you think are important and nobody will look at it. Or you can pull up the stuff that the people who you're trying to attract put the stuff up that they're looking for. And that's the difference between activity and attention. Just because you're doing stuff, just because you're posting things online doesn't mean you're posting the right things online. So when someone goes to, say, Yelp, and don't get me started about Yelp. It's a whole nother conversation. We will hit it at some point in the future. There is a place for Yelp, but you got to do it right. Otherwise, you just want to put your hands around someone's necks and squeeze until you hear that distinctive click, click. When someone goes on Yelp, when someone goes to Google, when someone goes anywhere, even social media, if someone goes to TikTok or depending on how young you are, or to go to Instagram or whatever, they look for things a specific way. You got to get there. So you got to know what terms are they going to type in. You know what those terms are. It's the things that you do. And if you're not sure, ask that person sitting in the chair in front of you. Ask them. And if you don't want to ask them, there's plenty of these AIs out here that know all of this information. So you can ask the AIs. Now, I do this stuff for my folks so they don't have to, as you can imagine, because it's what I do. But this ain't rocket scientist, and that's scientist. This ain't rocket science. as I like to say, at the end of the day, and here's the come down, the takeaway, as I like to say, activity, just because you're doing something, is not attention, is not doing something that matters. You need to go after the people who are looking for what you do by putting in front of them on the platforms they look at the information that's going to help them get there. Are we talking about, trying to, hornswoggle, bamboozle, or anything like that? No. You know what they want to know? You've been doing this for a minute or two. You know the questions. You know what things people are interested in. You know what their fears are. Put that stuff up there. Put that stuff on your social media. You don't have to really change much of what you're posting. Just, if you're doing social media, pay attention to what your captions are. Pay attention to the hashtags. Make sure you pay attention to the comments, because the comments matter as well. If you're putting articles online, make sure the articles are touching on the topics that people are interested in as they go about the process. At some point, we'll go into that buyer's journey I was talking about, and I'll explain how when people are at the beginning of the buyer's process, when they're beginning to do their research, they ask one type of question. And when they're getting down to the nitty gritty, about to grab their wallet and go make a thing happen, they ask a different type of question. You put the right content online in the places that they look to hit them with what they're looking for when they're looking for it. That's attention. It's one of the fundamentals. It ain't rocket science. And if you just think about it for just a minute, you can take a look at all those cool tools that you have in your toolbox and figure out which ones will help you generate attention and which ones just generate motion. That's all you got to do. All right. Almost forgot. So I'm doing the blah, blah, blah thing, and every so often it's probably a good idea to give you something to look at. So what I created, because I'm nice like that, is what I call the blueprint. And essentially the blueprint is the first 6 episodes of what I'm talking about, written a little bit slower and not as much free-flowing commentary as I do here. But it just lays out what the fundamentals are, what you need to keep in mind. And then from there, you do what you want to do, but it's kind of cool. So anyway, if you want to get a hands on it, it's c2local.io/the blueprint. There's no dash, I don't believe. Now, I'll tell you what, c2local.com/blueprint. That way you can't mess it up. Type that bad boy into your search browser, boom goes the dynamite, and then you got the 4 fundamentals, and you can chew on that bad boy as much as you want to. This ain't rocket science. It just isn't. I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to help you get there. If you got any questions, leave some notes, leave comments in the notes or in the comments or whatever, depending on where I post all this stuff. And I'll get back with you. I'll let you know what you need to know. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.